Let's talk about instant gratification. So often we hear that the millennial generation is entitled. And I'm not here to talk about the millennial generation, but I think just in general, this day and age, there are a lot of things at our fingertips. There are a lot of things that we can receive super quickly. There are a lot of things that we don't have to wait for. So sometimes when we do have to wait for things or we don't receive the response that we were expecting for the work that we've put into something, we're extremely disappointed. The other day, I sent out a text to my text list, which if you're not on is a completely free text list. I send out little pieces of information and inspiration throughout the week based off of what my life is experiencing and those women in our community and what I hear from you. So you can text me directly at 707-347-0319. And I'll also put a link in the show notes that you can use to just tap and text GOALS to GOALS. That'll put you on the daily text list and you can get some of these conversations. And this one that we had last week, I was talking about that it takes 2 years for a pineapple to grow. 2 years. And I don't know about you, but in our house, if we chop up a pineapple, that pineapple might make it 2 days. And it took 2 years to grow. There are so many things that happen in life that someone puts a lot of effort and time into, and the person on the receiving end that didn't do the work is likely not putting in perspective the time and the effort it took to create whatever that is. It could be the thought that was put behind a card or a meal or making someone's bed, cleaning up your children's toys, or making sure that they get to their sporting event on time. There are things that you do every day that are not appreciated. And that is hard. It is hard. And I can't pour into you today and say everyone is going to appreciate you as much as they should. Unfortunately, that's probably not the case. But you do have to appreciate yourself. And you have to know the effort and the work that you're putting in may not be reaped right now. There are things that we do as parents for young infants that we don't see until years later down the road. There are things that we do for ourselves that you may not see until years down the road. You may be growing your pineapple. You may have to wait 2 years to see the product. And after those 2 years, it still might not be fully appreciated. The work that you put in for 2 years may be consumed by that one person in 2 days or less. And they'll enjoy that treat, but they won't maybe comprehend the 2 years of work. Your job is not to understand how or when or the way that your work will be received. It's for you to get so clear on your purpose in this season and where you want to show up each day that you are not just respecting a result. I don't know if you've ever heard someone talk about like, don't give the gift to get the thank you. And I think this is really similar. While we can want to do things for people, it's important to look at the intention behind it. It's important, are you giving that gift or partaking that activity or doing that gesture just to receive praise for doing it? Or are you doing it because it makes you feel good inside and it's coming back to you and no response is necessary? It is always good for people to hear thank you and I appreciate you and I saw the work that went into this. And if you see an opportunity to congratulate someone or compliment them or show them that they're appreciated and thanked, you should definitely do that. But when it comes to you receiving that from others, we can't rely on that. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be thanked every day for showing up as mom and everything else that you carry in your life. But your joy, your self-accomplishment, your appreciation for yourself has to come from you first. Because you don't know when you're going to get it from others. And when you get it, you don't know if you're going to hear it. And you don't know if you're going to get it the way that you want to. So it's really, really important to find that first. It's really important for you to be honoring what is the work that is going into your 2-year pineapple that someone else may not acknowledge. I want you to think today, what is something that you've already done that you were disappointed with the acknowledgement that you've received? What is something that you thought would feel better when you were done? Maybe it was graduating high school or college, getting your first job, having kids. Maybe it was your marriage or anything else. Sometimes we hit a milestone and we kind of look back and we go, that's it. That was all of that work for that. If there's something that comes to your mind that you feel that way about, I want you to think of all of the other things that has impacted. Let's use going to college as an example. Maybe you're not in the job that you thought you would be if you went to school. But what are some of the relationships and experiences that you gained along the way? What are the things that you learned about yourself in that process? What are the different milestones that you've hit alongside of that maybe are impacted by that degree or that experience, but they're also completely unrelated as well? What are the things that you had to navigate and learn along the way? So often when we have a specific goal or a specific milestone we're looking to hit, and then we measure the success based off of that goal, we don't even look at all the other things that were connected. We're not looking at all the other branches or the things that are growing because of that. I'm going to give you an example. I have a vineyard, and in our vineyard, we have to use cover crop between the rows. And the cover crop is so that we can put nutrients into the soil, and it helps support the grape vine and the harvest. Well, there are so many different things that are created by that cover crop when really we're just measuring the fruit at the end of the day. So if we're measuring the fruit, we're not actually thinking about, did we get different little microclimates or little micro communities of different bugs and things because of the other choices that we made in the vineyard this year? If we're only measuring the success of the fruit and we're not looking at the vineyard as a whole, the whole property, the whole area that's growing, it's very easy to miss all of those other wins, all of those other exciting moments, all of those other just beauties, even if they don't relate back to the crop. This is applicable to any farming and anything in your life. If you're only measuring the degree, the house, the purchase, the child, the family, then you're not looking at all the other little things that are connected to that. Did you meet a friend at that job that you lost that's still a friend? Did you get to have an experience with that pregnancy that didn't actually bring a baby home with you? What are the experiences that are happening along the way that you're not being able to honor because you're only measuring that version of success at the end? How are you losing sight of the 2-year process in growing the pineapple? What if the pineapple never makes it? What if it's a bad harvest? Were those 2 years of growing that pineapple a complete waste? There are going to be things in your life, if there haven't been already, that you're going to look back and be like, wow, that turned out extremely different than I expected. Is it a complete waste? And the answer is no. I have never heard a story of something not coming to fruition that is a complete waste. If you have one, let's chat about it. But I've never heard one yet. There's always a learning in the journey. It doesn't mean it feels good. It doesn't mean it happened for a reason. It doesn't mean that everything should be going that way if it hurts, if it's hard. But what it does mean is there's an opportunity to learn. There's an opportunity to grow and look at something new. So I want you to remember that it takes 2 years to grow a pineapple. And the next time you feel frustrated or unappreciated, I want you to know that you're just growing your pineapple. I love you so much. Keep getting those goals. And I cannot wait to hear about your pineapple harvest. Sending you so much love.